Hi everyone and welcome. This is a pick a card reading specially dedicated for this Aries Equinox because as we all know, this represents the astrological new year. It sets the karmic theme for the next 3 months, but of course from another perspective for the whole year because this is the period both astrologically and of course within nature as well within nature's cycles when everything is really susceptible, open, receptive and fertile enough for new beginnings. And some of those new beginnings can open really important chapters or set certain themes in our lives that might stay with us for a lot of years to come. Others, of course, might be much more short term, but still, it is bound, it is almost destined to begin something new in our lives. And also, this year's Aries season might be that much more special because what new energies, for example, new beginnings, the sun illuminates in this Aries season. So beginning from the 20th of March, it doesn't really matter if that new beginning is just a thought, a feeling, a desire, if we did something practical or down to earth to initiate it, or perhaps not yet. Jupiter in May entering in this part of the sky will bring some good fortune, will expand everything that is there. So even if it's just a thought, a dream, an emotion, or even if we actually did something in that sense to initiate that already, Jupiter will make it lucky, expand it, bring it a lot of momentum, and also the sign of Aries is very, very quick, spontaneous, instant. So that also goes for Jupiter's expression in this part of the sky. So the luck, the windfall, the fortunate opportunity, things coming together suddenly, instantly, can manifest that much more stronger in May period. So as we are basically heading towards the end of the spring season. But of course all of this is what the astrology says. Now let's see how this may manifest in your life personally according to the wisdom of the cards, divine synchronicity, and my very personal channeling skills. The instructions are simple as always. Just take a look at the 4 pile of cards for a couple of seconds or as much as you need to, and then choose the one which speaks to your intuitive senses the most. Interpretations and the timestamps can be found in the description of the video and also in the comments. With this being said, let's get to the reading. Thank you so much for being here and wishing everyone a blessed Aries season, a blessed spring, and a really favorable and optimistic, joyful new beginning in your life. Hello everyone who has chosen the first pile. Your cards are the 5 of Wands reversed, the Hangman reversed, the Ace of Swords reversed, and the King of Wands reversed. Well, yes, this is a lot of reversed energy, so this in itself already says that it's gonna be very, very different than what is usual to you. It is gonna be very different than what you expect, what you anticipate, and perhaps many viewers, listeners who have chosen the first pile are already sensing a certain very strange anxiety, restlessness, almost like even your body, hormones, nervous system, and naturally dreams and the unconscious is telling you that something is coming, and that is definitely the case because this 5 of Wands in reverse position, well, it represents that suddenly, quickly, unexpectedly, perhaps chaotically, everything, your normal routines, and even the big picture of your life changes. Now, the 5 of Wands in upright position, and normally it does represent conflict, competition, a fight, a struggle, collectively speaking, a war, for example, something that we are fighting for, and we are in the fight, we are in the fray, and we are not backing down, regardless of our chances, regardless of how the battle stands, we are still fighting and we are there. But of course, in this case, it simply represents our fight for survival, our fight for our normality, our usual story, our usual life picture. Everyone is fighting for something, even if it's simply survival or to just perform your daily routines. Well, because this Five of Wands is reversed, well, something changes the game totally. If the Five of Wands is like a competition, life is a competition in every way, sense, and form, and it suddenly changes, and the event is going to be heavily karmic, of course, and it is going to shock you, because this is the Hangman reversed. And that means that something is gonna break the bubble, something is gonna break the daydream. It is basically going to very, very quickly change your life's normal course. So it's not very certain what happens, but the card which follows, the Ace of Swords reversed, the power structures in your life, as in who has power over you, who you have power over, and this to be understood in so very many different ways. For example, job, where you live, relations with neighbors, society, friends, your life in general, how, the balance of power looks like in your life, even your relation with, the authorities, with society, with the state, paying your taxes, banks, and that official side of everyone's life, that can also be seen as, a balance of power, because you need to allocate and dedicate strength and time, a part of your life, to deal with all of that. But this is just an example. So very many things, events, people, or anything basically in our lives can represent some kind of power for us personally. And when the Ace of Swords is reversed, that means something sudden, a truth, a big, big game changer that shifts the power in a second over in your life. So everything is different. The Five of Wands reversed. The game is different. The prize is different. What you're fighting for is different. A lot of things that you have been fighting for, or symbolically speaking, were important things, elements, people in your life, all of a sudden change. The balance changes. The importance, the ladder basically, the pyramid, the hierarchy changes. And it changes deep within your soul, because this is Neptune, the Hangman reversed. Life was in a certain way one day, and then something happens and life is very radically different in a second, in a flash. And that Hangman reverse also represents that, yes, the information, the change itself, the Ace of Swords, hits you, reaches you, you become aware of it. It is gonna be like a lightning bolt. Not really a tower moment though, so don't expect something bad. Don't expect something catastrophic. Don't expect something like ruthless. Even if it's a big change, don't expect it to enter your awareness in a brutal, ruthless, divinely inconsiderate manner. It's just gonna be very, very shocking, and it's gonna be very, very different. And it doesn't necessarily have to have a polarity as in good or bad. When something big happens, it just happens, and it has positive consequences and side effects and ripples and negative ones as well. So maybe this is a kind of situation which we cannot polarize, which we cannot judge, in a dual way. It is just what it is. It is big, it is massive, it is shocking, it changes everything balance-wise in a second. So that is big. And finally, this King of Wands, reversed, it's really not going to be under your control. It has nothing to do with your will, as in if you want it or not, or how you feel about it. It just happens, and you have to adapt to it, not vice versa. Because when the King of Wands is reversed, he cannot do a lot about the situation. He just has to process it. He has to accept and then see what he wants to do, then see what his willpower is actually capable of. You know, the prayer of serenity. Change what you can, surrender that which is definitely not under your control, and the wisdom to know the difference between the two. So basically, if it's a serene situation, then even if it's a big shock, a big change, your reaction doesn't have to be like drastic, sudden. It can just be a surrender and then processing it slowly. This is one of the interpretations of the King of Wands reversed, but the other one is like when it's a big shock, it can break you for a very short period. You just stop, you just phase out a little bit. You're not there in your life, you're not present anymore, and that's also okay. So this Ace of Swords reversed combined with this King of Wands reversed, well, that kind of represents a moment when you're just lost. When you're just, this just happened, so universe, what next? Because your mind and no part of your being can in that moment even envisage the future or what happens next. It is when everything, your life and worldview just changes in a second, and what's next, how your life is gonna fold out in the future from that moment onwards, it is definitely gonna be a mystery and uncertainty, but again, only for a short moment. This isn't a long-lasting chaos. This isn't, as I said, a tower moment. This is just a massive surprise. And this is really depending on each person's, each listener's, each and every one of you who has chosen pile number 1, your own personal karma, because I do see that perhaps for some people, this is something that happens around them. Like in their community, for example, something so big that life just changes. And I really, really, really don't want to scare people, because this is not something catastrophic or bad for the listener themselves, so you, basically. But maybe this could be catastrophic a little bit for people around you. For example, like a calamity, a flood, an earthquake, landslide, something happens and you see a side of life which you have not seen before, and it changes you, it changes your mindset, it changes it changes a lot actually. So of course you can expect that the new beginning, because that is the theme of this reading, is gonna be born out of that moment of maximum chaos and uncertainty. It is gonna be born out of that moment when you say, what now? What happens next? Well, you don't know, because it will not be in your power, in your judgment. So like a moment, like an eclipse almost. A big reset. And as I say, for some listeners, this can come just from the local community, just from what surrounds them, people, their country, their geographic position. Something big happens that shocks everyone. It can also be something that happens internationally and it shocks all of us, everyone on the planet. And I'm not talking about doom, death, and destruction. Just a situation, something that reality will reflect to us. It doesn't have to be like strictly polarized. It is what it is. But of course, for others, it's deeply personal, something deeply meaningful and karmic to them, something which terminates a certain phase, a certain chapter in their lives, but also a part of your identity, a part of that which was usual and familiar for you personally is also going. That is also like the end. That ends suddenly. That is cut off almost like. And you step into this new phase also as a new person, also with a certain innocence. And also with a certain sense of rebellion, the hangman reversed, because you are doing something like a leap of faith. You're doing something very, very important for yourself. Doesn't necessarily have to represent like survival, but it can represent survival from a much more elevated sense, like upgrading your life or finally doing something, making a big move, taking a leap of faith, a radical change that you also embrace and execute. So unfortunately, what comes next is going to be a surprise, and perhaps that which comes next is going to be under your control, because maybe you will have to make new choices, new preferences, depending on how your situation and life changed. So maybe your life can all of a sudden turn into something more authentic, more you, more real, more, I don't even know how to say it, more self-centered, but not in a bad way. Quite the contrary, in a soulful way, in a spiritual and emotional way, where you are actually living life, you're living your story, you're living that which is just you, and there's no interference from others or anyone else. So that's really, really good. And for others still, maybe this is a big moment of rebellion when you decide to perhaps cut out society in a classical sense, move to a place and live like a hermit, or live naturally, or join a certain community, or try out something like a lifestyle or a modus vivendi, something totally different, alternative, and which is unusual. So I'm really sorry, but I cannot help you more with this, with the predictive part of this, but I really say be strong, be brave, and embrace it, because this can be so, so, so wonderful and fantastic, something which really will exceed your wildest expectations. Thank you so much for listening, and wishing everyone a blessed spring/Aries season. Hi everyone who has chosen the second pile. Your cards are the Ace of Pentacles, the Ten of Swords, the Four of Swords, and the Ten of Cups. Well, for you guys, this is a very, very heavily karmic energy where something big has to complete in order for you guys to be able to actually begin anew. But the new beginning, maybe this is that Aries season in your lives when things change dramatically, drastically, for the better, for the good. Maybe for you guys, this is gonna be a year, a spring, when you truly step into healing, but not just the inner spiritual and emotional part, but also physical, also practical, everything that healing and well-being and a regenerated state represents in a very down-to-earth way. So this is really, really good for you, many of you guys, because I also see that you need it so, so very much. And this is the symbolism of the Ten of Swords. The defeat. Yes, it is a defeat. But for you guys, it is not something negative. Symbolically speaking, it is almost like a rotten tooth that it died, everything, you just want it to take it out or to be extracted, to be removed already. So it is something, a loss perhaps, or a very turbulent, a very, very, very heavy karmic chapter in your lives that needs to terminate. And maybe it has terminated in thought. Maybe it has terminated in feeling and emotion, but something needs to still give you that sense that it's truly over and you are done with that. And, as I said, it doesn't even have to represent any doom and gloom and drama, but maybe it was just a chapter which was insanely hard. Like when the universe put the setting of the game, if life is a game, to hardcore, to impossible. Something like that is over in your life, and Four of Swords, all you want to do is, at least for a little bit, like 4 months, Four of Swords, just recollect yourself, as in just breathe, just stay above the surface of the water, just float, just breathe, just Ten of Cups, that which follows, the sense of completion and the calm and the peace, the acceptance, the cleansing that comes with it. But the funny part is that this begins with the Ace of Coins, which is exactly the new beginning from a material, or if you look at this more metaphysically, from the earth elements perspective. So it does have to do with down to earth things, maybe money, maybe lifestyle, maybe health, maybe that which can be expressed physically, or that which one way or another has to do with down to earth things, for example, someone's work over the internet or anything of that nature. So maybe a money or anything which can symbolize the Ace of Coins enters your life, that which gives you the sense of termination and closure. Something is finally done with. The Ten of Swords, you accepted mentally, it was all over already, you processed it logically, rationally. The Ten of Cups, you kind of also processed it emotionally, regardless of what it was, a ruthlessly hard chapter in your life, or a trauma, tragedy, loss, something very negative that happened to you. You're also over it emotionally, spiritually even. You understood why. You really extracted the wisdom and let go of the excrement part of this alchemical process, so to speak. And now you really, really earned your right to rest. So I do believe that is what's coming for you guys. Maybe for you guys, this Aries season and perhaps this spring cycle is not going to be very filled with action. It is not going to be that big, fantastic new project. It is not going to be full of, passionate, fiery energy, but rather just a sense of completion, breathing, and just, being without having a much greater purpose. Maybe this is just a chill out Aries season for you guys. And this chill out, well, it comes as a reward. It comes as something that you earned. Because as I said, maybe this chill out can be due to material ease. So you will be able to afford it, and it will be profoundly regenerative, the Ten of Cups energy. And this will reach out to the lives of your basically loved ones. Those people who are really close to you. So the sense of completion, the sense of calm, the sense that finally I can breathe, well, it's gonna be projected onto those people who are part of your life as well. So it's good news for everyone. It's not just you who are going to enjoy it, who are going to chill out, but you will have friends or family or that special person. So it's really, really good. A period when you really, really earned your rest. And the fact that the major karmic forces in the world, like this period, collectively speaking, should be those big, big, big new beginnings where we set the stage for the next, 30 years, for the next 18-year cycle, and so this for everyone will represent a lot of work, a lot of action, a lot of brainstorming, a lot of connections, collaborations, being busy, adapting to that which the world outside also has to offer, or adapting to the dangers and the risks. But for you, that all of that won't matter. For you, it is just a rest that you have earned. And I also see that due to that Ace of Coins, whatever that means, it can be a person, an opportunity, an income, or a job, or something that provides you with material comfort and security. Well, that provides the means for an entire area of your lives to just enter a state of passivity where things just flow on their own and you don't have to worry about things. May that be perhaps your job, your life path, your income, your second house. Something happens that really gives you that which you deserve, an easiness, a rest, a peace that you have worked for, maybe the past 10 years of your life, karmically or in any other way, but you really, really earned this. So this is what I see for you guys. An Aries season which gives you a regenerative and relaxing, a chill out new beginning. Maybe for you guys, that is exactly what you need, because maybe the breathing, just chilling out, just existing, just being within your beautiful life, within your beautiful self, was all the new that you never ever got to experience. So maybe the time has come for you guys to just be. So thank you for listening. Wish everyone a blessed and truly magical spring. Until next time, bye for now. Hi everyone who has chosen the third pile. Your cards are the Hermit, the Three of Swords reversed, the Two of Swords, and the Queen of Swords. Now this is a lot of swords energy, but surprisingly for you guys, this actually represents a very, very significant new beginning that's either for some professional, for other people it's not necessarily professional, but it is a specialization, a study, embracing something, or having the courage to study something, to start studying something in a very, very serious and hard-working manner, if that makes sense. Even if it's self-study, it's not, on an amateur level. You're really, really doing it as it is meant to be done. Now, this Hermit does represent that you've always had interest, so this is not something totally new. Whatever you are inspired to study, whatever you want to advance further, or whatever enters, your sphere of interest as a new passion, or maybe a new opportunity to make a significant step towards accomplishing something that you're already good at, but maybe it's that sense of accomplishment, sense of realism that it's lacking. Maybe you have the skills, maybe you have the studies, maybe you have the degree, the diploma, but you never actually went and did it in a serious way. For others, maybe it was something that always fascinated them, and they did study and research and, document themselves on a more amateur level, but they always, wanted to keep it that way. The Three of Swords. This is where either you always have felt or had this feeling that I'm never ever gonna be as good or taken as seriously as the big guys, as those who excel in this domain. But because it's reversed, well, that means that the universe always, or better said, on really, really many occasions, pointed it out almost literally to you that you really underestimate yourself. This is when the universe, through other people, let's say, always compliments you. Good job, you're really good at this, you're really talented at this, you really should take it to a next level, you're better than the professional that advertises themselves, etc., etc. Well, then you have to believe it at one point. This is where, if everyone around you says that you're drunk, even if you are not drunk, after a while you stop believing yourself and start believing the others. The same way with your situation. At one point you will start believing the universe that you're actually that good, you are talented, and you can do it at any given moment. All you need to do is truly just believe in yourself, and perhaps by initiating a study, even if it's self-study, the gesture itself is a dedication. The gesture itself is a message that, look, I'm actually open to this. And very soon things will change. This Two of Swords, this means a decision. What to do with that study, what to do with that specialization, what to do with the professional, let's say, upgrade, in which direction to take it, because it will not happen for nothing. Opportunities will open for you, and for many people who have chosen the third pile, perhaps two major opportunities, the symbolism of the Two of Swords, where to take it, and those opportunities will be just simply options and preferences. So this will begin a new chapter in your lives, definitely, but a chapter where the new element is you doing it, not just knowing it, having the skill, being in tune with it, as in having a lot of interest and passion and curiosity, because that is something that you've already worked on, the Hermit. You're aware, you know, you are actually experienced, believe it or not. So that means if it is a study that you need, you will find it very easy, and you will just jump, you will just propulse yourself to the top, you will just quantum leap to becoming a professional. The study time will be very, very short. Or if you just need to go out there and do it, and use your existing studies and research, especially if it's self-study, well then just go do it, because perhaps what the world needs is a professional with your touch, with your personal experience. But what's common for everyone, regardless of how this manifests for you, the fear. The fear of not being good enough, the self-criticism, and certain disappointments that you had throughout your lives. Disappointments, for example, where you knew you were more than good enough, where you knew that what you could offer was beyond just the normal standard, and maybe you were still not rewarded accordingly, or maybe you also are very sensitive, a really, really sensitive person, and maybe you misunderstood the world of, affairs and, even human resources, interviews and jobs and professional reflection of worth and stuff like that. That's a complicated world, so you do need a certain kind of awareness there, because a naivety and innocence is not something positive in that world. So maybe a lot of times you misunderstood and you misjudged yourself and your value. And with this Queen of Swords, well, usually the Queen of Swords is a very brutal energy. It is when someone tells you the truth, the painful truth, to your face, and in a very cold manner. Not insulting, but neither dressed up in honey and sugar coating, it cuts. And for you personally, well, it has to cut, because the blade itself is actually good news. It is that you're a good professional, or if you study it, you have more than what it takes to be what you dream of becoming, or whatever this is. If you study it, or if you begin pursuing this or taking this to the other level, the next level, it's gonna be an advantage, it's gonna be an asset, it's gonna be like something that will stay with you and advantage you for the rest of your life. Because that what you learn, that which you integrate mentally, the Queen of Swords, that stays with you forever. You are that much richer, you are that much more powerful, you are that much more experienced as a human being, and knowledge itself and a know-how, even if it's, as I said, self-study or self-education, it's an open door. That door will always stay open, even if it just a little bit, but it will not be locked. It will always be available, and that's the most valuable, let's say, expression of an energy possible. That's much more valuable than if these cards were pure coin energy, just money value. This is knowledge, this is experience, and this is ultimately mental power. So for you guys, this new beginning, I do believe that it is either study or a specialization, or you taking your skills to the other level. While for other guys, it's as simple as truly believing in yourself and acting accordingly. And when I say acting, Queen of Swords, how you present yourself, how you speak about yourself, how you, as in what you project about yourself onto others. And that has to be full of respect, that has to be full of honor and dignity, truthful, because none of that is against, modesty. If you have experience, that's not shameful, that's not like advertising yourself. Just pointing out that which you are able to do, that doesn't even have a polarity, that is normal. So through this Queen of Swords, the universe encourages you to own your power, to own your skill, or if you do not have the sufficient experience yet for this, well, then your passion is a guarantee almost that you're already so in it that it will just go naturally. So have the courage to start. The Three of Swords reversed. Whatever your fear or disappointment or heartache or whatever is stopping your passion and believing yourself is for you personally, well, go against it, get over it, have the courage and the self-awareness to simply embrace this part of yourself, and may this be your new beginning. So thank you so much for listening. I wish everyone a blessed and magical spring. Until next time, bye for now. Hello everyone who have chosen the fourth pile. Your cards are the Sun, the Ten of Cups reversed. In this deck it's called Mat, but it's the Justice card really. So that in reverse position. And finally, in this deck it's called the Wise Fox, but it's the Death card really. Now for you guys, this is really big, this is really powerful and heavily karmic, just like for the second pile, because this describes a huge karmic blockage that has been affecting, or better said, afflicting your life, perhaps since 2018 or 2019. And, karmically, it's almost like a huge buildup of energy in the ether. So it's not really in our world yet. It's basically somewhere in the ether, because the blockage just couldn't allow energies to manifest in your life. Now, there was a lot of activity in your life in the past 4 years. Big karmic manifestations, career, family, relationship, perhaps in all area of life, you had a massive obstacle, challenge, or a massive loss. When I say area of life in astrology, that's the 12 signs, so 12 areas of our souls, our existence. Maybe you had one of those 4 years when every single area, all 12, basically dimensions of your soul were challenged, and there was some kind of reset there. And maybe this is what you have been living until this present moment. A big change, a big reset, a big loss, let's say career-wise, then followed by something in your home, then followed by in your family, then friends, then the world itself, society, career, then something a psychological purge, then a dark night of the soul. So it is when this is basically your life 24/7, 30 days, 12 months, and I do sense this so maybe 4 years, and this was it. You had like a non-stop period of karmic happenings, if that is even an acceptable term, and that was all your life was about. Either a purge, either getting over a loss, either something from childhood, either a friend who you haven't seen in, I don't know, 20 years just pops up in your life and there's something you need to help them with karmic. So this is where everything was, almost like out of the storybook, and there's a heavily spiritual energy playing out here, because I do believe that the reason why it played out in such a dramatic way and it was so very heavy and ruthless was because there was something in your family. You were the person, or are the person, who closes a massively heavy karmic chapter for your family. Maybe maternal line or paternal line, I'm not sure if it is different for each and every one of you, but that is how, and why, better said, your life story was the way it was. That is why your past, and especially childhood, the Ten of Cups energy, was the way it was. The drama, the sadness, all of the challenges and the disadvantages you started life with. So there's a lot to say here, but I do believe that very, very recently this might have ended, and you are right now, when you're listening to this reading, between the new beginning and the ending. It is almost like when you are being born and you are going through the birth canal and you get stuck for a moment, so it's scary for everyone. And maybe right now, because of this Ten of Cups reversed and the Justice Mat, the goddess of justice, reversed, well, you feel that life is totally unfair. You feel that you're basically dead. That every side of you is defeated. You just surrender. Maybe this is it for you, in a sense that now you're really at the mercy of life and fate, and you really don't care because you don't even have the energy to care. At least you are happy or kind of content that the big ending was there, it happened, it took place, or it manifested, so that part is crystal clear for you, however it played out in your life. And this is where the new beginning, well, you kind of lost hope that it appears in your life, or that it's gonna be handed down to you on a silver tray. And maybe for the first time, you need that right now, because you are not able to do anything by yourself. So right now you actually need that. You really need it to just pop up, to just appear almost as if by magic, because you're not able to do anything to save yourself or help your situation. Maybe right now you're actually at fate's mercy, so to speak. But the good news is that it's coming. It is really coming, and it is gonna be easy. It's gonna pop just up in your life as if by magic. It is really not what you expect, because maybe you expect some kind of big justice, and whatever that means compensation-wise, to come from the past and let everything be clear. Let's, basically pour clear water into the glass. Let's forget, let's start everything new, fresh and clean. But even if you expect it, and even if that would make sense, it's not the way it's gonna happen. It's just gonna be something random. It's gonna be something new that will just rip you out from the past, from whatever injustice was, and it's something that has to do with the sun. So it's a source of happiness, it makes you happy, it is delightful, and it makes you shine. So it brings out your creativity, it keeps you busy. If there's something that has to do with money or anything material in nature, the sun is also a positive card because it means that your creativity, your inner energy keeps you safe in any sense. So maybe you get money for it, maybe you are fine materially, you're gonna find everything that you need in a very balanced and down-to-earth way. Maybe not big luxury, or as I said, maybe not the kind of big reward that you would deserve from the past karmically, but you're gonna be happy, and I do believe that that's all that matters. It is like an unexpected happiness, and it's not gonna just pop down from the sky as you expect. First, you're just gonna start feeling better and better and better for absolutely no reason, and you will get to a stage where you won't even care about being rewarded, being rectified, having justice in your life, not even divinely. You're just gonna start forgetting everyone and everything and just feeling okay. Perhaps this is the best way to describe it. And when you care the least, then something happens and you're just gonna be in the right place at the right time, and it's just gonna align for you. And basically that will be the moment when the past is gone, is left behind, and you just start something new based on the sun. So your creativity. Regardless of how this manifests physically, individually in your case, the symbol is very straightforward. You generate something. So whatever it is that you love, or whatever it is that motivates you, keeps your passion burning, a person, a situation, an activity, or simply a phase in your life, a state of being, it is more than enough to keep you in a state of satisfaction, basically. And you're that deep, experienced, and powerful person. You had so much lessons in your childhood, in your past. Everything that you went through taught you to be a grandmaster in so very many expertise and fields of life. And I'm not talking about professional things. I'm talking about life in the deepest sense possible. So because you have a lot of spiritual and emotional and even intellectual gravity, lived experience, lived experience irradiates through every single component of our being. It makes everything stronger, and it gives everything a much more clear meaning. That is why lived experience is the pure alchemical gold. That is why we are here. Everything that basically exists in matter is here for the experience of existence. So this is also a rather philosophical energy, because you have to interpret what this sun means to you personally. When did you say to yourself, I'm gonna do this and this, let's say, or I'm gonna be living this and that, when the sun rises on my sky and finally there's gonna be sunshine in my life? Maybe there were moments in the past, especially in these 4 years, when you said, maybe as a joke or maybe as consolation to yourself, these sentences with the sun or summertime. It is like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Whatever you said to yourself that you're gonna do or is gonna happen when the sun rises, well, that is exactly what you're gonna get now. And also, maybe this summer season of 2022 is going to be really, really delightful and deeply regenerative and healing for you. So this is really, really good news. So thank you for listening. Wish you a magical and blessed equinox and spring season. Until next time, bye for now. Well, this concludes today's pick a card reading. Thank you so much for listening and being here, and thank you so much for supporting my channel. If you'd like to have me as your spiritual guide, Please support my channel. You can donate in the PayPal link in the description below. With this being said, thank you so much everyone, and wish you a truly blessed and amazing Aries season and spring equinox.